All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I, of course, want to start off by giving all praises and glories unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, for the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the gospel of this truth. It is actually for about 5 o'clock in the morning here, so I'm gonna try to, keep my voice down a little bit. So you might have to turn the volume up to hear me, but it's lucky about that. But this is my only free time for today. Um, the other day, some cat on the comic board asked me to do a little video on the sequence of the end times. Okay. Now I'm not gonna make this too long, but I'm going to get into the sequence of the end times. And for those who don't know what that means, basically, it's putting together the puzzle, so to speak, on the events and, in Revelation, you know, that lead up to the, second coming of Christ. Um, so before we even get into scriptures, um, it's very simple to understand. Um, just in a few words, well, I suppose it's a lot, but to make it simple, okay, to understand, is the sequence of the end times. From my perspective, ETT Yasha, is when you deal with the scriptures, right? The two witnesses, which are, let's even go further back than that. I will start with Revelation 9th chapter, right? Which was the fifth trumpet. The fifth trumpet was the First World War, right? The locusts, which were the World War One dogfighter jets of the German army, was the locusts in Revelation 9th chapter. And then later on in the chapter, the 200 million army. That's referring to the destruction of Babylon, which is America, later down in the road of, the 200 million army is actually an army of nuclear missiles that the Beast, which is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, will send on America, when, we're in World War III. And that's in Revelation 17, verse 16, right? It says that the beast, he will hate the whore and eat her flesh and burn it with fire. And how does a nation burn another nation? The answer to that is today, a nation burns another nation by sending nuclear weapons to that nation. That is how a nation attacks another nation in today's time, okay? Now we'll fast forward to Revelation 11. Revelation 11 was we're in the fulfillment of that right now. All right, the two witnesses are the Israelite groups that we see today on Earth that are on the highways and byways and have their own camps where they're teaching worldwide. Okay, that is the fulfillment of Revelation, the 11th chapter, which we're in it right now. Okay, later on in the chapter, where it speaks about how they were, killed for a few days and they rose again. That already happened, right? The Israelites were in a dead state of mind. That's in, Ezekiel, the 37th chapter. But then they came to life again, which we're in that state right now, where the black man is learning that he's actually the Lord's chosen people, right? That blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are actually the true children of the Most High. All right, and that's the Great Awakening that we're in right now. Okay, because 100 years ago nobody knew that. Nobody knew that the black man was the Jew. Nobody knew that. But guess what? Now we know. Okay? Now we know these things. That's Revelation 11 has not totally been fulfilled because it jumped to the future, going over the destruction of America. But the top part of Revelation 11 has been fulfilled. Revelation 12 was dealing with Jerusalem when it was invaded by the Romans, and the woman with the child was referring to Mary, giving birth to who the world calls Christ, and it clearly shows that in the chapter when you read that, which we've done breakdowns on that in the past. But that's the fulfillment of that, Revelation 13th chapter. Confusing chapter to understand, but basically, when you break it down, it's Slovakia. It's America, which is the beast with two horns like a lamb that brings in the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, which is a point in time that we're coming to right now, man. Okay, that is the prophecy. Because he asked me this: what prophecy are you mainly telling people to look out for? Okay, which I'll answer that. Mainly right now, what I'm telling people to look for is the food shortages, the civil unrest, and as you see, the stores are going cashless now. Okay, what is that gonna bring about? Tongue twister. But what is that leaning towards? The mark of the beast, which is the microchip. Okay, that is the main prophecy that will happen before America is destroyed and before Christ returns. Okay, so that is what we are to be looking for right now. Okay, that is where we're at in prophecy is pretty much where the mark of the beast comes into play, which again, for those who don't know, is the microchip. Okay, leading on from that, it's pretty much very simple. Let me say this: when we talk about the sequence of the end times, you have to look at it this way. The way I look at it is there's prophecies that had to be fulfilled before the destruction of America, such as 2 Ezra 15 and 16. And, basically, for those who don't know what it is, you can read yourself, the whole chapter. Basically, civil unrest, people breaking in each other's houses for the lack of food, killing each other, having mass starvations and die-offs and stuff like that. Okay, that hasn't happened yet. So that has to happen. So the way I'm seeing it is right now we're in the collapse, which is going to bring about those prophecies, the food famine, right? The civil unrest, which will all lead into the mark of the beast. Okay, so you're going to have civil unrest or Jacob's trouble, which will bring in the mark of the beast. And from the time of the mark of the beast, it's going to be relatively peaceful for people who take the mark of the beast. And then that's going to lead into where America is destroyed further down the line. Now, I can't tell you the time period. Scriptures say no man knows the day or the hour. But going from the scriptures, and when you read, let me say this, when you read about the destruction of Babylon, which is America, it's a normal day that this destruction comes. And if you don't believe me, if you read it, it says that there were ships coming from these other nations bringing their goods into America. So if everything was, SHTF, chaos everywhere, everybody, all would be chaos and mayhem, as Markham Rose says. Inside joke. But if that was all going on in the time that America is destroyed, well, then why are these ships coming to bring merchandise to sell in America? That doesn't make any sense. And if you read the prophecy, it clearly says that. So in that time, it's going to be relatively peaceful. Okay? So I'll lay it out again. From right now, we're coming into the time of the mark of the beast, but before the mark of the beast, this is what we need to look out for right now, is the food shortages, right? Famine, civil unrest, which all of that is going to bring in the mark of the beast. Okay, so the sequence of the end times as of right now in October 1st, 2020, leading on to, the years to come, is civil unrest, the fulfillment of Matthew 24, Mark 13, what is it? Second Ezra's 15 and 16, Daniel 12, just to name a couple. All right, scriptures say that, the devil should come down on you having great wrath because he knows he has a short time. Right, we're in his short time right now. So he has to come down with great wrath. But guess what? Out of this time of tribulation and suffering, Jacob's trouble, the solution is going to come in, which is the mark of the beast. And from that time period, for those who take the mark of the beast, they're going to be relatively peaceful. Okay, well, you had to factor in, I will say this, you had to factor in the plagues in Revelation, the 16th chapter. Okay, you had to add the plagues in Revelation, the 16th chapter into it, because that will happen when vast majority of people have the mark of the beast. But that will happen before America is destroyed. Okay, but the point that I'm saying is, none of us can know for certain how this is going to go, but this is my viewpoint on the future and what these prophecies have in store, because again, it has to make sense. So as I said, I'll say again, from what I see is Jacob's trouble happening this year, next year, and whenever. That'll happen for a while, which will get people spoiled, desperate, which the government will bring in a solution, which is the microchip. And from that time, the plagues in Revelation 16 will be fulfilled, and then that will lead into America's destruction. And that's where we're at in prophecy right now. So that is the sequence of the end times in the Holy Bible, from my viewpoint, ETT Asha. And yeah, mind of God, you can do a video response to this, my man. Okay, which, at this point, I should call this brother Bond. Gold Bond. Just gotta be sarcastic with him. But hey, look, mind of God, hey, look, I put a few slugs in you, man. I put a few spiritual slugs into this brother, which I will admit, in our conversations before, this brother, he has hit me with a few slugs, hit me with a few shells, but I am still walking with ligma inside joke. But anyway, that was the sequence of the end times. You can, feel free to share your comments down below. And mind of God, I challenge you, my man, to do a video response to this. Okay? And one last message from me to you, me friend, you strike was weak. All right, those last videos you did about me, my friend, me friend, you strike was weak. Those were weak, my man. Okay, you need to up your game a little bit, my man. Hey, look at me, man. Look at me. My videos are classic. Hey, look, I got, signed Mr. Beast merch in the background. That bird is sitting there with damn ceiling, light in the background. But anyway, I'm going to call out the lesson. I'm going to say shalom.